my daughter, the one on the podcast, she decided to cook for me for my birthday.
We should talk
And
about
it
a
was,
different topic. This topic, okay, and that's the end, everyone. Thank you for coming.
So fun. Stay with me. Let's do this together. So at some point, they do a bit
yeah,
more themselves, a bit more themselves. They can take ownership of the thing they made. I mean, if you gave them the dough and they decide to go and add a whole set of salt to it, then if it comes out salty as your bread, you added
it's
salt to your
good.
own bread. It's your own.
Yes,
Own.
yes,
You have to be teachable and be willing to learn because the time will come when you'll just be leading. And when you're leading, sometimes you're looking for somebody to even tell you something and nobody is there. So that is
yeah,
why
yeah.
it's like learn all you can at this time.
Welcome to the Raising Kingdom Builders podcast, brought to you by the Perm Legacy Foundation, a podcast dedicated to equipping and encouraging you to grow in God, walk in purpose, and live out your faith boldly. You're listening to an episode from Mothers of Mothers. Get ready to be inspired, challenged, and empowered for kingdom impact. Let's dive in with today's hosts.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Mothers of Mothers podcast. This is episode 1, and I'm with my lovely, beautiful, stunning co-host. So please tell us who you are.
My name is Claudette, and I'm the mother of mothers.
Well, she is actually a mother of 3 mothers. And I am Dr. Norva, and I am a mother. I'm a daughter of a mother. And I'm a mother of a soon-to-be mother. When I say soon-to-be, in the next decade.
No,
Okay,
that not soon to be, yeah?
I'm
Prophesy.
surprised.
Prophesy.
Amen. So I was like, I didn't know that. Okay, and I'm Shernorva, and I am a daughter and a granddaughter of mothers. And we're really excited to be here with you today. As you know, with this Mother of Mothers podcast, we're here to instill, to share, to pass down information, to pass down knowledge about what it is to be a mother, but also then to pass down through generations about mothering as well. So we're really excited to start a mini series in our Mothers of Mothers series, and it's called Passing On to the Next Generation. So the first episode that we're starting with today is about passing on to the next generation from a woman to a young female. And when we say a young female, I mean like a child, so up to the age of 10. So I'm going to go through a few points with you all. We're all going to share our thoughts on them as well. So point 1, from passing on to the next generation, the first point is instilling confidence. So
Yeah.
what do you think about instilling confidence in young females up to the age of 10?
Do you want to go first,
Dr.
Mama, or I could go? I don't
No,
mind.
you go ahead. Go ahead, and then I don't know.
Yeah. I think in some ways, when children are young, whether boy or girl, they're born with a sense of a lack of fear, confidence. A lot of times, if you look at even a baby, when they start crawling, you have to run behind them. Yeah. And you're telling them slow
Yeah.
down. But somehow, as children begin to get older and they begin to look at what is being done around them, and people start to say things to them and act a certain way with them, then confidence begin to get less and less. Now, there are some things that are said to children that are important. Like you say to your child, be careful here, because they might know a child could go speeding and go straight off a cliff or run into a road. Like I know for myself, when I was in the formative years, I got knocked down by a car because I ran into the road when my cousin was calling me. Yeah. But so after a while, the level of confidence that they have to do all things fearless, that can begin to dissipate a bit. It doesn't happen with everybody, but it happens with some. Specifically when it comes to daughters, passing things down to your girl child, because you know at some point in time there'll be a woman and they'll need to be able to do certain things without fear. I think it's important that we begin to instill certain values in them so that they can begin to do things from a formative age. I'm sure Mamoy will talk about some things that she began to do with us when she was young, that she was even stopped from doing some of it. There are some things, for example, when you start trying to instill things in children, not everybody would be happy with you and they'll be like, leave the child. Or why are you telling her that? The child will begin to think she better than anybody else. But then it depends on the child and what you're teaching them. Because instilling confidence, if it is done the right way, it doesn't flow over into pride and cockiness. Yeah. You want a child to be confident in their ability to speak. You want a child to be confident in their ability to know that they are valued and respected for what they know. You want them to be confident in their abilities. So, say, for example, you realize that a child is good with running or a child is good with coloring. You want them to become more and more confident in that, So, how do you need to, I think it's important that you begin to speak to them and tell them about what they're doing, how well they're doing it, yeah, like praise them and stuff, so that they begin to know, I'm doing well at this, I need to keep up the great work. It's not for now competition, it's just like for them to always try to better their best for themselves, not to try to please other people. Like, you're good today or you're great today because of your level. Is, if you think about it, a child who might be, I don't know, a very good singer, yeah, as a child, they're very good compared to people in their age bracket. But by the time they get to an older age, they will be judged based on a different level. You understand? Like, what was good when they were 5 is not good when you're 10. You understand? You're good at maths at 5. You can't say all I know at maths when I get to age 20, I'm still good at maths if all you know is what you know at age 5. So it's always going from one level to the next to the next. I'll stop there.
And Mamoy?
Yeah, you have instill confidence in children when they you don't make them be grow them up to be frightened Friday, as we just say, frightened. You have to grow them at where they go in something, be confident. Look, when the children was small, I'll walk with them when we reach to the junction in the road, I will ask them, tell me when to cross the street. So I will stand with them and they will look and say, okay, look left, look right, tell me when to cross. And they will look in, and if they say cross, and I will say, no, it's not time. And they say, okay, look again. And they will tell you when to cross the street. And if you see them then, and you keep doing that with them, so they will know when they're ready to cross. They will wait till a car is close by to cross the street, because you have instilled in them the distance the car is before you cross. Because some children, they just go and they run across, they run over the road, and they didn't look. Right? Because I can remember when my daughter was small, she told me she was going to meet her sister. And I said, okay, I thought the sister was coming in the road, in the stone road. And when I found at certain time past, I'm not seeing her. So, but I thought she went to meet her sister, not knowing that she went, run straight out and run out the road and cross the main road to look for her sister. So when I didn't see her, I had a bicycle at home. I took the bicycle and I walked right out the road. And I met her coming back. And same time I met my brother, and he said, what happened? I said, she told me she's going to meet her sister, but look where she is. She run and she reached up the run. And then when she see me, I didn't see her, no. I didn't see her. I didn't see her. She come in and not seeing her. And he said, don't beat her, let's talk to her. And I spoke to her. I said, well, the next time, don't think. I thought it was right in the road here. And I took her back home. So, you see, if I did not teach her how to cross the street, I might have been home and here accident. And so you have to teach children something. If they have to, like, light a fire, you tell them how to do it. Don't just leave them up to their own to go in the matches. Go and light the fire. No. You have to show them how you put it on the stove if it's a gas stove, and when to strike the match, and all these things. So you have to teach children from small how to do things. Yeah. Teach them to, like little girls, I had to teach them to wash. I made a little line. And I put them to wash the undies and the little soft clothes, and then I give them pins. And they used to feel proud when they see their clothes hanging on the line. They used to be feeling proud. So from small, I taught them how to do things, and that is teaching them independence.
What about
So
the bread and the bacon, mommy?
yeah, even when they're making bread and you need the flour, you give them the little piece of flour. So everybody make their own bread. Some bread might be smooth, some might have, different shapes and size. But they were proud. I mean, they can't wait for it to finish. They sit down there watching the oven to see where the bread coming out.
Yes.
because they're excited about their bread. You know, even when they get older, you teach them how to knead flour when they're making dumplings, and they show them the right way, right?
Yeah.
And it get them, they get excited. They make that is my well. When you make the dumplings and it come out the fire, they're eating the dumplings with pride because that I make that dumpling. you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Even so, when I travel about 11, 12, they couldn't cook because I taught them how to cook little things.
Yeah.
Till one day, my daughter, the one on the podcast, she decided to cook for me for my birthday.
We should talk
And
about
it
a
was
different topic. This topic, okay, and that's the end, everyone. Thank you for coming.
So fast.
and she made
Yes.
different varieties of fig.
Fig is like green bananas.
Yes. And I was just waiting for the food, waiting, and it can't finish. And she don't want any help. She wanted it for herself. So it was fig pie, and was fig mayonnaise, and I think it's fig drink too. And when it came, after waiting so long, I said, wow, this is fig galore. But she was determined that she wanted to do it for herself. And it is so that the confidence she had in going to cook a whole meal for herself and unassisted. She didn't want any help. And that was, that was instilled, that was the confidence she had in herself of doing things.
Mm.
I
So,
think that
go ahead.
I was gonna say as well, I think that's a good point about allowing the child to be encouraged and allowing the child to know that observe what I'm doing, stay with me, let's do this together. So at some point they do a bit
Yeah.
more themselves, they can take ownership of the thing they made. I mean, if you gave them the dough and they decide to go and add a whole set of salt to it, then if it comes out salty as your bread, you added
It's
salt to your
good.
own bread. It's
Yes.
your own.
Yes.
But allowing the child to go and then to try, to try, even about when you're young and you're making up plays or you're making up songs, all
Yes.
of those things as well. You go, you sit, you sit. Like I even as a child, I remember like being sat with, or you go and do the show in front of your parents and your family. You're like, we're doing a show.
Yes.
Then you're acting, you're singing, all the things that you created. But all of these things is cultivating
Yes.
confidence. By the time you can comfortably do it at home, you can comfortably do it outside as well in front of other people.
Yes. And they used to make up things because what I don't want to be a Dutchman Scotch or something like that, Norva. That's what
My song. I love my mother and she loves me.
yes, that's so I was making up songs and different songs. And Nova was always starring there. She always starring. She yeah. So when you see children on the video, you had no doubt that they will make a good parent. Because by the things, Yeah.
Yeah. And so the next point that we have as well is demonstrating leadership as well. So do you want to share?
I suppose it's a good segue based on what Mommy was just saying about when you see people who have leadership qualities, if a child is teachable from a young age, and sometimes they it's not that they're not teachable sometimes when they're trying to say I know it and I know it. It's just because of their confidence, but you need to pull them in and let them know I hear what you're saying, but there's more that you need to learn. You're in learning mode. I say this to Jazeel and them all the time. Listen, you don't know everything. You're young. You are learning. be willing to learn. Even for young people, when it comes to prayer and them kind of stuff, I'm like, you are learning. You have to be teachable and be willing to learn, because the time will come when you will just be leading. And when you're leading, sometimes you're looking for somebody to even tell you something and nobody is there. So that is why it's like learn all you can at this time. When they are young, they're in those formative years before you get to like age 10, 11 and stuff, and parents are saying things to you, even though as a child the child might move as though I don't want to hear. No, you need to be there to guide them. There's this, I think it's a Instagram thing that where this lady had her daughter and she's teaching the daughter how to make drinks, and the child will pour the chocolate, pour the milk, and
Yes,
sometimes when you see the child pouring first, it wetting up all the table and everything. But when you look, the mom is there saying, no, 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 stop, stop, just little things like that, stop, stop. But she has the child doing it. And you could see as the more you look, the more when the child is learning and getting better and better and better. And that's because of guidance. You understand? Because now not only does the child know when to stop pouring, but the child knows what to put in to make different drinks. You understand? And so the time will come. I'm sorry, go ahead, mommy.
Some children, when you're trying to teach them, they listen to, sometimes some parents say, you are a little know-it-all. And they just leave them there instead of insisting that they do what you tell them to do.
Yeah.
Don't just leave them to their own device.
And some people, parents, is just because as soon as you say something and the child doesn't listen, that's the end of the story. But you have to be willing to know, you know what, again, they're a child. And so even if you try one way and it doesn't work, you go back and maybe, no, instead of just telling them that, try to explain to them why. This is why I'm teaching you this. This is why this is important for you to learn now. Because the time will come, as I said, when it comes to you leading others, and you can start leading others from a young age. Like when I think now about some of the things that I was doing from young, I remember when I was around age 8, that's when I really started my entrepreneurial journey. So really learning leadership from a young age. And it was something that my mom helped a lot with. So I started selling mangoes at that age. And I remember um, I would take mangoes to school and sell it for the equivalent, well, 25 cents, which is the equivalent of like £2 and 2.5 pence. Yeah. And the reason why we were selling the mangoes was because we wanted to buy this record that was $30, $30, which is like about £3 now. It might seem like not a lot, but it was something that we really wanted. And so it wasn't like we can't get it or begging somebody for money. Is how can we do it? And so because we had a lot of mangoes in the yard, I would take it to school and sell mangoes. Mommy used to give all of us, I mean, some of us did more selling than others. Some was just sharing and eating. But for me, the willing to sell, because I was willing to do that. One of my teachers in school, Miss Suku, she was so helpful. Like she would call other children and say, come, the mangoes here for sale, mangoes here for sale lunchtime, and be helping them, and I'm selling my mangoes and stuff, and then take the money home in the evening. That's not you get that money and you go and you spend it, because I knew the goal. Yeah, but I think and this is when you realize what kind of qualities people have. There's some people who are cut out to be um entrepreneurs. There's some who are workers, and some people is maybe when they get older, then they would think more about leading. So from that young age, for me, I was always from a young age very like mouthy and that kind of stuff, right? So in terms of, I wasn't afraid to say, even if if at the beginning felt a little bit embarrassed, I'm like, you know what? I do it all the time even now. I'm like, I ain't gonna die. Go. That's what I would say. So I was I would start doing it, and because I started being willing to share, then my teacher saw, and I think I must even try selling her some mangoes. And then she started. I think she used to even buy mangoes as well, but also help the other children. And she knew it was good mangoes. You understand? It wasn't like old beat up things. We were bringing, I was bringing nice thing, and it was a good price that they were getting it for. So I learned good leadership skills from there, how to be confident, how to go, and even whether it's older people, younger people, you have your mangoes. If my sisters had mangoes that they didn't finish sell, because I had a lot of customers coming to me, I would take their mangoes and sell it too, and make sure at the end of the day I bring the money home And as I said, we ended up getting to the goal, but that also sparked something on the inside of me. And it was good that that leadership started from that age.
Yeah. And I think even with what you're saying about leadership, I mean, as you know, I don't have my own children or yeah, my own mothers that I'm no, not yet, not yet. But I was thinking about as someone who leads things myself and has been under different leaders as well. There are certain things where you can be like, oh, do you know what? This person was a really great leader in my life, or they led, or they taught, whatever they did. I could see they did a great job because they were open to taking maybe criticism, or open to taking different people's point of view and ideas. They were open to supporting. They would go the extra mile. Even the example you gave about the mangoes, they were confident to go and to share and to do what need to do for the things to be sold. Like all of those things are we ourselves can look and say, wow, this is great leadership qualities in a person. So even more so, that should be instilled in young women, in girls from a young age. Go and sometimes it's to go and do and to, you might not get it right, it might not work out. Like I'm, even as I'm saying, I'm remembering by our local neighborhood, there was a time when we were driving past and we saw these young girls out with a big table, and they had like their toys and things that they were selling. And I was literally remembering of when I was young and selling as well. I mean, I was thinking at this age 8 selling thing, man, because I was selling jewelry pieces when I was young too, age 8. So that generationally passed down, that selling at a young age and stuff. But yeah, I was selling jewelry pieces, and just seeing the young ladies there, it wasn't particularly a warm or nice day and stuff. It was just them on the side in front of their house with their stuff out, with the prices. And I went and I just gave them a little bit of money, and I said, you know what, I remember when I was young and like selling pieces and doing things to bring in a bit of money, and I just want to give you this just to encourage you to just continue going, to continue trying and things. And I knew that would just give them that little bit of encouragement to just keep going and stuff. And those are the things
I
that
think
we
I
need
remember
to do.
one of them ran home. One of them ran home immediately with the money. Yeah.
We got some coin, man. We got some coins. They were literally, I think they just kind of set up and stuff, because they weren't there when we had first. No, they were. They were when we first passed. It was on the way back. But yeah, it's all of those things just to encourage young women, like, you can do it. You can try it. And by the time they get older and they're in the boardrooms, or they're going and they're leading and creating things, if they were told when they were younger that you could do it, you can try it, you can go, we'll push, we'll be behind you, then that's the same thing that they know they can do. But trying to learn that from adulthood is difficult. Yeah. Trying to start that mentality and start thinking, I can do it, I have people behind me who will encourage me, who push me forward, I can lead these people. That's really hard to just jump into that from adulthood. So from young, if you can do that, it's great.
Yeah. So in fact, I wanted to even remind you, Shernorva, about when you were around age 6 and 7. Do you remember when we started doing things towards the business in Trinidad? And when we go to the shop, what I would allow you to do?
Yeah, yes. I used to, guys, I was a shopping connoisseur from young. So we used to go to the store, we would go in, and mom would say, okay, you go one side, I go one side, and I would go shopping. But it was all for, we were buying things for like the business in Trinidad, but we'd go shop, buy the pieces. So it wasn't until we got home, usually, that mom would see the things that I bought. But she taught me so well about spotting bargains, getting pieces, me being able to look and say, this might work well, but this might not work well. Even from that young age, I had an eye for it, but I had an eye for it because I was taught. Like, I'd watched my mum do it enough times. I'd watched, even with Mamoy as well, shopping when young. Both of them are some of the best bargain hunters that I know, for sure. Like, being able to go and get like a good deal, being able to go and get something that's good quality as well, without paying an arm and a leg, and being able to look through and sift through and be like, do you know what? On the surface, this looks good, but I can see this, I can see that. Sometimes things you can't even see, then they can see it as well. But all of those qualities are things that once you pass these things down, then everyone has an eye. Everyone is looking and seeing. Yes.
Yeah, that's important. And also one of the things that mommy has passed on well to us is not just being ready to throw things away, but making sure that when you if something goes wrong with something, can I fix it? Sometimes you never know what to do, but if you stop and you just take a few seconds, then you begin to think, WWMD, what would Claudette do? No, what would mommy do? Yeah. Oh, WWCD, what would Claudette do? Yeah. And so you begin to bring out that kind of mindset in you of letting your creative skills come out and that kind of thing. And all of those things, it instills confidence. It helps you to know that you're able to do more than you realize that you could do. So all of that helps with your leadership as well, because when the time comes when you need to lead other people, you don't just drop at the first hurdle. You stop and you have that kind of, we call it like, I forgot the name of the word, that kind of thinking where you know to stop and analyze and process things and don't
analytic
just,
thinking,
don't just give up. You understand? So I think it's important. Yeah.
So the next point that we have is setting boundaries.
Mm.
So yeah. I think I'll start to say I think it's very important. It's very important to show young girls the importance of setting boundaries. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more in terms of from different perspectives and stuff, but being able to tell people no, being able to tell people go and speak to my parents about it, or go and ask my parents, go and ask my grandparents, go and ask your carers, whoever's looking after you and things, and not feeling like you have to take it on, you have to have that conversation, you have to work it out, because some things you don't know, you don't know the answer, or you can't help, or you're not privy to that information, or you are privy and you know it's not information to share yet. So being able to even learn how to speak about things without sharing everything and things, and knowing that you don't have to share everything. I think from a young age, that's something that over the years I've really had to learn, because when I was younger, I like to talk, I like to share, sometimes overshare to the point where after I'd be like, why did I say that? Like, why did I share that? Why did I feel like I had to say that? Or maybe feeling pressured by the person asking me questions and then just blurting it out, and then after being like, oh, well, I wasn't really meant to, like all of those things. Learning how to navigate those conversations and being able to put boundaries in place and being like, actually, I don't have to share this with you. Actually, I don't have to say this, or do you know what? Not right now as well.
Yeah. And some people take advantage of that kind of thing. And that's why you have to be careful. Like, I suppose that's why sometimes as well, children could end up being abused, different types of abuse, because people put them on the spot. And if you're put on the spot and you feel as though when you're there, you have to say certain things, you have to do certain things, and you haven't been taught to. In times like these, you say yes. In times like these, you say no. In times like these, you walk away. In times like these, you run away. In times like these, you have to know to shout and let everybody hear what's going on. You can't be feeling sorry for people, especially when they're doing wrong to you. You understand? Sometimes we're so willing to protect people who are doing wrong that we don't realize what we've actually done is giving them permission to do wrong with other people. So if somebody is coming to you as a child, going to a child and asking that child a lot of interrogating questions, and the child feels backed in a corner and answering and answering and answering. Like, I could think about some things when I was younger that one of my teachers in school asked in primary school, it was inappropriate, asking me about my pubic hair and all those sort of things. I was around again, 7, 8. You're asking me that kind of thing. You know that these you think about it now. When you're young, you ain't thinking much about it. You just answer the question because I'm just confident. But can you imagine if maybe he had gotten me in some inappropriate corner where he would have tried? Do you get what I'm saying? The fact that it felt it was appropriate to ask me something like that, in a space like that, in a school, you're a teacher, that's wrong. Like, you're there to educate people. But what is it about that? So you understand, if I didn't know myself, then maybe if he calls me away or something, I would go. But the thing that I thank God that I learned from mommy and them is, I remember mommy used to take time and teach us little self-defense. They come into you, kick them in the groin if necessary. That's what they always used to tell us when we were young. If some man come to try to do something, or scream, shout, that kind of thing. So there are some guys who tried inappropriate things. And when they tried it, I would always run back and tell my mom. And then some of them would be like, she lying. But I know up to today I wasn't lying. but they're
Yeah.
just surprised that I was willing to go and speak about it, where some children wouldn't speak about it. They're defending you when you are putting them in compromising positions. And so teaching children boundaries, teaching children this, if somebody asks you this, this is okay. If they're going to ask you these kind of things, that's inappropriate. If it's something to do with the law, even to do with the law, I don't know if you remember the girl
Yeah.
over here. I mean, she was older, 15, but they took her to the police station and insist on making her strip even when she was on her menses and stuff. Those sort of things are wrong. That you
Yes.
understand, and you would think because it's the law, they're hiding behind that, but that is inappropriate. That is really
Yes.
the boundaries have been crossed. This is a young girl.
Mhm.
You're supposed to have adults with you. You understand? She's supposed to have an
Yeah.
adult with her when you're doing those things. So anyway, I hope that that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes. It makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say actually to your example, I was even thinking of an example that's I guess a little calmer as well. I remember when I was younger, people asking me questions like, "Oh, where are your parents?" If they've only seen one parent and they can't see the other, or they've not seen either for some reason. Let's say, for example, it's church, right? Everyone's expecting to see the whole family. For some reason, they're only seeing me or whatever, whatever. I remember when I was younger, feeling like I had to share with people exactly where they were, exactly what they were doing. And I remember having a conversation with my mum actually, who said, "You don't have to share that information. You do not need to share. If people want to know that information, they can come and ask us directly what is going on,
Yeah.
why this is going on. They don't need to get that information from you." And from then on, I felt very confident to tell people to just say to people, they're not available at the moment.
Yeah.
They're not there.
Yeah.
And I think this is some of this conversations about even sharing with the young child as well about what do they say in response. They're not available. They're not here.
Yeah.
Go and ask them. All of those
I,
sort of things. So they feel empowered. Yes, Mama.
yeah. And you have to tell them, to tell children, no is an answer too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to say yes every time. Say no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say what I mean. You know, once I heard a preacher said, she was speaking to a lady and she was saying, look in the, if you cannot say no, look in the glass and practice. No. She said, you keep practicing that. No. So when it become you will be able to face them and say no, because I'm afraid to say no. You
Yeah.
have to learn to say no. So practice to say it.
And the thing is, sometimes the people that you have to say no to are people who you're supposed to respect. Some people,
Yeah.
they overstep their boundaries in positions of power. Even
Yes.
spiritual leaders, you
Yes.
must have said my teacher in school and stuff. Some of those things, they're wrong. They're wrong. And
Yes. Yes.
if everything was being done in the way it should be done, they should be in trouble. Like we should know, say something, they should know they're not supposed to say that. And once they say it, you are going to get in serious trouble. You losing your job.
Yes. But sometimes people compromise that and they get away with it. When you report, if
Friends.
you tell another teacher,
Yeah.
the teacher will just pass it over. When they're supposed to discipline, tell them, no, that was wrong.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
And I think, I mean, I guess the last thing I'll say on this point as well. I think it's to share with the young lady, the young girl, that you don't need to protect others. You don't
No.
need to protect others at the expense of just allowing your boundaries to be broken, or allowing someone to come into your boundaries, even your personal space, like physically your personal space. All of those things, saying no, telling people no, saying to people this, no, this isn't okay, and then having that conversation with your loved one, with your guardian, even as like female to female, having that conversation with another woman in your life and stuff. When we were talking about, for example, about periods, all those sort of things, having those conversations, asking questions where you can have those conversations and things can be open as well. So the next point that we have is promoting education and encouraging a growth mindset.
Yeah. When to promote education, sometimes when their children are small, you'll buy, like sometimes for Christmas or a birthday, you will buy educational things for them as presents. Maybe you buy a book or you buy a puzzle, something to help them with their education. You know, you buy these are the things to encourage so that they will, by learning, reading the different books, reading things, it will help them to be good readers, right?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I remember when Shernorva was small, we going out together in the car, and I go on vacation. And she saying the tables, and Madame say two-time table, and she would say the tables. And then if she's wrong, I'll say, no, say it again. You missed something, say it again. And she will keep saying the tables, and she will just jolly in the back of the car and saying it her tables. And it was the first time I heard people say tables, I think up to 20 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know in Trinidad, I know tables from 2 to 12. When I hear the
same.
girl 20, I said 20 times. I said, well, I, you know, and I was so impressed at how she learned and she knew all these. And when we go out in the car, okay, Shernorva, five time tables. And she will say, but she go, okay, 8 times. And she will be saying it going,
Mm.
and I was so impressed,
Mm.
you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Although sometimes,
education about education is very good.
sometimes when Shernorva think about it, she thinks about it more traumatized. But especially because the ones that she knew well, she was happy to say it. The ones that
Yeah.
she found very hard, like the 12 times or the 7 times, them days.
And
It's like
13
by the
times,
time she get to 13 times 7, she shaking
I
like
can't
she a
even say
balcony.
13 times. I can't even say 13 times table. I know up to 12. And this child can say all these tables. And when you can do that, that will help you in school.
Mm.
Yeah,
But
it does.
Yes,
But you see, it brings a good point as well, because if we go back to the things that I had Shernorva doing with money, it was a balance. You understand?
yes,
You can't just be telling child education, 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 and they can't see the fun in it. It has to be
yes,
done in such a way that the child knows this ties in with this. This time, you understand? You can have fun, you could do things, and the more Shernorva knew after a while that the more she knew, the more I would give her freedom to do things. Like
yes,
I remember
yes,
that time when she was the first time I told her to go to the shop for herself. I think you were around 9 or something like that, but 9 or 10, something like that. But before I know her father found it hard to even think about it, but then because by then how many other things Shernorva was doing, and then we devised a strategy. You will go with the phone. You don't put the phone for everybody to see. Keep the phone in your pocket, but keep the phone on. So that by the time you
yes,
walk to where you're going to, you understand? And you get there, when she reach there, then she reach by the grocery, she take out the phone. I want the grocery now. I'm like, yes, good. Then she went in, she buy, she come out, then she said, yeah, I'm on my way back home. She put the phone back in her pocket. But that was necessary because by the following year, all of them, once you get into secondary school, you had to go down for the bus for yourself because I ain't dropping
yes,
it. Yeah, you
yes,
understand? Yeah, and you don't want that is the time that they have to do it for the first time. So how
yes,
do you do it in a way that is safe and everything? But I suppose getting back to the whole point of education and that as a priority, education doesn't have to be monotonous and boring. If you think that
no,
there are ways, there are fun things, and that's the kind of things that are popular on YouTube. When children can look at things as like busy beavers and that kind of thing, which I had my children looking at. So they see fun things, Sesame Street for years. The way that Sesame Street taught things. I mean, they don't do that in the UK, but ask Shernorva. Shernorva knows a lot about Sesame Street because I knew that that was fantastic for me. And so when she was growing up, we would put it on, we would laugh at some things, but the information is still there. Some things up to now, Shernorva could recite it. Even if you think about when Shernorva she was in primary school still when we went to Oxford. Do you remember? And I made Shernorva learn it. And I said, in order to get it, sing it. Up to now, even me, I could sing it. You understand? Because I knew if she could sing what she's written, then she could go and speak it. And so she went up in the class, spoke it, and got, I think, the highest mark or like the full marks or something like that. Because it was done well, is making education fun, making it in a way that you could retain it. You understand? Finding the joy
yes,
in it. Yeah, so it's not just doing it from a way you have to do this, you have to do, you understand? You do that kind
it's
of
like,
thing, and sometimes,
yes.
yeah, you're forcing children to do things that they don't want to do.
Yes, and make them coward because
Yeah.
then they think they're afraid to say, they get up frightened. They're afraid to say the thing because if they say it wrong, you want to chastise them, so and buff them up. No,
But
let's
the
make
thing
it
is,
fun.
a lot of times parents, they were doing that because that's what they knew. As I'm saying,
Yes,
what
yes,
Granny got when she was growing up, although thank God she said because she grew up with her grandmom treated her well. You understand? But we know that her mom, grandma, was very strict. I mean, grandma used to overdo it sometimes with
yes,
her strictness. So thank God Granny spent a lot of time with Nen. But there's some things that Granny learned that she passed on to mommy, but when mommy came to live with her when she was older. But there are some things that needed to be adjusted because of the way society was when mommy was young. Then when it came to me, from the time it came to our age with Winnet, Norva, and April, there are things that mommy did differently, like going out with us when we would go for sports and make sure that we even used to get up in the morning, remember, run down to the beach,
yes,
run back together, all those sort of things. Is adjusting and adapting for the society that you're in, what is working, what will work best now, so that you're not just trying to instill old values in children. You understand that they are wrong others and they don't want it to stand out like a sore thumb. You understand?
no,
But even though they
no,
don't want to stand out like a sore thumb, they would like to stand out sometimes when it's a good thing. And so
yes,
teach
yes,
them the right things. You teach them how to be confident. You teach them the importance of education in a fun way. That's a great thing.
And I agree. I think especially when it comes to promoting education, there's the two sides. There's the formal education, the things they need to learn. So for example, learning the timetable and that was like a whole family thing. Everyone knew I was learning it, everyone was involved. But also on the side of like if they show an interest in history, encourage them to watch things, go on horrible histories and watch shows about it, and then you talk about it, you discuss it. Like all of those different areas that are just that can be seen as outside of what is seen as formal education, what they're learning in education. So they're good at sports and stuff. Encourage them to watch a football game. Encourage them to
yes,
watch
yes,
a
yes,
female football game and a male football game. Encourage them to do some research around football, about players, just different things. Come and bring it, like do the research and then bring it to me as the parent or whatever it is in the house. So it's not just about it having to be done in a this is your homework from school, so do your homework. But how else can they be curious about the world? How else can they take things in? And I think that even links in with the idea about encouraging a growth mindset as well. The whole
yes,
you can do it, we have you, we're behind you and things. Not saying that it's not difficult to learn these things and stuff, because we all know at every age, learning something new is difficult, right? And I
yes,
think
yes,
even if you've done it before as an adult and you're now instilling this into a child and stuff, for them it's going to be new, it's going to be difficult to do, but it's encouraging them. You have this, I know it feels difficult, but you have this, so you continue with repetition, you continue with different things to make sure that they get it, and over time they get it. Now I know my times tables. Now other kids that I grew up with, I'm sure they know their times tables too, but sometimes it just takes a little bit longer.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And it's being patient, even though it's taking longer, knowing that each child is different. You understand?
Yeah.
So what worked
I,
for one, like when I think about
yes,
Odelia and Jazz now, there's some things that they do differently, but
yeah.
you have to know how to adapt and adjust so that each child gets what they need. Yeah,
Even when you buy books, like I remember the childcraft books, I still have them.
yeah, yeah.
It's with them to read the books to
Make and
learn
do.
different things, different things in the childcraft.
Spend a
It
lot of
helps them
things
with
in
the
a
reading.
lot of time in make and do in the childcraft book, and even the
Mm-hmm.
limericks. I remember there once was a lady from Anaiga and all those other things. Just those little
Yes,
things. And the thing is, I was never great at reading, but Winnet was. So the things like we would get Winnet to read certain things to us, but when it comes to creating and making certain things, like I would be the one that would lead on that one. You get what I'm saying? Yeah.
yes,
Knowing your strengths
Yeah.
and pushing on that.
and yes, yes,
And so the next point that we have is about breaking gender stereotypes as well. So I think first of all, the first thing that comes to my mind is that as young children, we all played sports at different times. We were encouraged by our mothers and by our fathers, but yeah, we're encouraged by the women in our family to play sports, but not just the sports that everybody knows and sees. We're encouraged. I mean, I did not enjoy football. I think did both of you play football, isn't it?
Me.
I
Both?
played basketball.
Okay. I'm trying to think. What did I do? I mean, I swam. Swimming was out of world, and that was probably the one that was my thing.
Did you
But
volleyball?
I was, pardon?
Volleyball. But did you volleyball?
Partly, but when I was older, netball was the
All
main
right.
one. I think netball was the one that we, I think, at a young age, probably all
Yes.
did. But with all of when the sports come to mind and stuff, with all of them, it makes me think about how I was encouraged to. This is not a female sport, a male sport. Go and try it. Go and see if you like it. Go and see if you would enjoy it. Go and do it.
Yeah. And I mean, for
Shernorva,
football,
I remember Shernorva doing playing the violin.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and some other things she did too. She used to be doing. She learned to play all these little things. She learned to play try the guitar. She tried the violin, different little instruments. I remember trying all these instruments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And doing cartwheel on the playground and
Yes.
stuff. And the thing is, Shernorva didn't want to hear or see football, but I insisted that she go and try. Giselle, on the other hand, love football. You understand?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So
And
for each
running.
child is different.
Yeah, but she did
Yeah.
athletics. I used to go with her, and she going and she running.
With the old man. Yeah.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I think at the same time, there are life skills that everyone should learn anyway. So for all of us, we learn to cook at a young age and things. I
Yes.
remember even going to cooking club and like different things like that as well, where we had to learn and take skills in. So it's not to go so far to the left where you're like, oh, because of we don't want you to feel like because you're a woman you have to cook. No, like you need to learn the skill anyway. Let's not make this thing into like you need to learn the skill to do the skill anyway. So go
Yes. Yes.
learn to cook. Come and watch me. Come and be a part of it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then you get to the point where you cook the egg for yourself, and then maybe
Yes.
you boil the potato, you boil the pastas, and then you make the sauce for yourself, and then you
Yes.
make the whole
Yes.
dish.
Yes.
Yeah,
But even washing the car. The children,
yeah,
because you would go out with the children and they wash the car and stuff like that, where some people would think, oh, that is a man's job. Cutting the grass. There
yeah,
are different things that you might say this gender should do this and this gender should do that. No. One nice thing in the Trinidad culture that I appreciate is from young, whether you're a boy or a girl, you're going to learn how to cook. Your parents teach you how
Yes.
to cook. For the girls, they say one day you have to take care of your family. For the man, they would say to the guy, you don't want no woman to come and, as they call it, cut style on you, as in to make you feel as though you have to depend on them. You understand? So you
Yes.
have to
Yes.
be able to
Yes.
do all of these things, wash your own clothes, do your own thing, male and female. And the thing is, anywhere we go, we're able to say, yeah, no, don't worry, I can handle myself. I remember one thing that somebody used to say over and over about Granny is, if Granny get caught somewhere and she has to run into a shower, all she needs is a little rag and she would dry her skin and everything and come
Yes.
out no
Yes.
problem. Where some people, I need to have a big towel. I
A
need this,
big
I need that.
towel.
Yeah.
Yes.
I understand how
yeah,
but it's just learning how to make sure that you could adapt and survive
Yes.
in an environment whether people think is only men could do this or a woman could do this. No, we can all do it. All we
Yes.
need to
yeah,
do is to learn.
That's right.
yeah. And we
And you have
part of
to
that growth.
just adapt yourself to other things too. It's no
Yeah,
hard and fast rules. It have to be done that way. You must have a towel. You understand?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, nobody
yeah.
wants to stand out in the sun waiting to dry, but
And some
Just
people will
open
do
up.
that. In Trinidad, some people will do that.
yeah, we're not over here, not in England.
No.
No, it's too cold. Too cold. Too
Yeah.
cold. And actually, the last one that actually came to mind with that is that my sisters in their primary school they have to wear a tie. So for myself, and before then, I'd never worn a tie. So I had to even learn. Wait, how do you do this tie thing? So if they do it wrong, I now need to be able to learn how to help them adjust, and then learn how
Yes,
to
yes.
really, like all of those things as well. It's not like a female or male thing as
No.
well. And yes, for our last point, we're going to, oh, wait, do you have a point you want to share?
And not only that, to Shernorva, you have to teach them to iron too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, how to iron the
yeah,
clothes, put them to them how to start with iron the front, iron the back, teach them.
Yeah. But all of those are little things that are important. But yep, go ahead, Shernorva.
Yeah, I was gonna say for our last point we have about spiritual practices as well.
Yeah. That
Okay.
and I suppose that's the main thrust of all that we're talking about, which is raising kingdom builders. In order
Yeah.
for us to um rightly pass on the
Mm.
word of truth so that the next generation could rightfully divide it, know what is right, know what is wrong. We have to do it from a place of spiritual understanding. And if you
Mhm.
teach your child, like I hear parents talk about my child is doing good in education, my child is doing good in this, and they're not giving, this is Christian people not giving their child Jesus, not talking to them about
True.
godliness. I
True.
think you fail as a parent, because at
Yeah.
the end
Yeah.
of the day the Bible says, what shall it profit a man if they gain the whole world
Whole
and
world
lose their
and
own
lose the
soul?
soul. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
everybody has to choose when you get to that age of reasoning. However, it is for us as parents to pass on to the next generation, to share with them, to tell them in a way that causes them to understand the importance of it, but for them to find joy. Restore unto me the joy of my salvation. The
Salvation.
joy of the Lord is my strength. If you're teaching a child something about spirituality and they can find no joy in it, they will not be interested in it. From
Mhm.
a young age, you can tell them, teach them about worship, teach them about songs. There are some songs that children love to sing. There's some even worship song that older people sing that children love to sing. How do you
Yeah.
get them to get engaged in the Bible and in the word in a way that is fun, that they
Yeah.
remember what they learn? You understand? How do you get them to pray in a way? I remember when I was growing up, at the beginning, you will pray, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. But then after a while, you learn that there is more to prayer than that. And as you learn that there is more to prayer than that, when you find fun and enjoyable ways and you realize in talking to God is not that you're going before somebody who, when they talk to you, you should be wetting yourself because they're so fearful. But you understand that it's a loving God, a caring God. And so you
Yeah.
approach him with joy. You approach him with you know that there's that scripture verse, with joy we draw waters from the wells
From
of
the
salvation.
well of
Yeah,
salvation. Yes.
yeah. Finding delight in God. It is important that we pass that on to children. There is a joy in it. There's a
Yes.
delight in
Yes.
it.
Yes.
So that is
Yeah.
important.
Delight yourself in the Lord. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scriptures to delight yourself in the Lord. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yes. So
He will
it's
give
really
you
a
the
joy.
desires of your
And
heart.
remember, they had these trainings to do play Bible boxing.
Yes.
After
Yeah.
the different scriptures, so they used to help them to learn the scriptures and all these things. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they take part and give them from small, let them join different church groups
Yeah.
so that it will, encourage them and they will feel encouraged to learn things because they want to go to the church groups, and when they go there, they will learn different things. Attend Sunday school, and when it comes to the activities they're doing them in Sunday school, they will glad to help them.
Yeah. And I think as well that when it comes to for young females growing up and all of those sort of things as well, is to help them to see themselves in the female characters in the Bible as well.
Yeah.
Being able to read about Esther and feel empowered, read about Deborah and feel empowered, knowing
Yeah,
that you can be a judge, a lawyer, like whatever the thing is that you want to do, or you can go and spend time in fasting, spend time in prayer, like whatever the thing is for them to learn that you can cultivate and be just like this female that you see. Even Mary, you can be just like this person as well. Say yes to what the Lord is telling you from a young age
yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah.
I was laughing when you say and be like Mary and give birth as a virgin. No, not that's not what we mean. That's not what
No,
we mean. Okay. Okay, Mother
Right.
Suppose. Yeah.
and there's even things about like being kind and being loving and looking out for others, all of those things that we can literally
Yes,
take from the Bible,
yes,
take from what
yes,
we're seeing.
yes,
Even like when we like to talk about Mary and Martha and stuff, but even Martha going and from the perspective of her helping and cooking and getting things ready and stuff for Jesus, like
yes,
roles that we can all do as females, as young, even as a young lady, go and ask your guests, would you like a juice, would you like a water, come and serve,
yes,
like all of those as well that we can cultivate and
yes,
say
yes.
in the word you
And
can be that as well. Yeah.
And you have to learn to be modest, and you have to learn to have pride in yourself, know how to dress, how to carry about yourself as a Christian young girl.
Yeah, I suppose if you teach
Yeah.
them that from a young age, then as they get older, it's easier for them to understand. But it's not just telling them what to do, but why and how. Those are
But
important. Yeah.
sometimes they're not around you and maybe they leave to go to university, I think some of them they lacking the values a little, so you have to really get it in the core, get it in.
Yeah, which is why we want to talk about it, where we started with this particular one. So Shernorva, you can tell people what to expect in the next one.
Yeah, so for the next section of this, we're going to continue on with our passing on to the next generation, but we're going to talk about passing on from a woman to a female as a teenager. There's kind of teenage years, you're starting to get the feelings, starting to get the emotions, just starting to, whilst you're navigating school and all of those things as well, your next steps in life, and what does that look like as well? So we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. We hope you've enjoyed what you've taken in as well, and learned some things about being a mother figure, and passing that on to our young female children as well. And thank you so much to our co-hosts as well, Dr. Norva and Claudette, or Mamoy and Mum, as we like to call them,
Yes,
as well.
Mommy Claudette.
Yes. And we will see you all in the next podcast.
Yeah, of course, don't forget, if you have any questions or anything, please send them in. We'd love to answer them. And yep, and think about it for yourself. What are the things that you need to think about, adjust in terms of what you're doing right now? And yeah, send your questions in to put it in the comments or send it into marobstt@gmail.com, and we'll certainly have a look. So take care. God bless, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye now.
Thanks for joining us on Raising Kingdom Builders. If this episode blessed you, be sure to subscribe, share, and stay connected. Keep growing, keep building, and keep walking in faith. And before we go, here's a word to encourage you from Prophetess Eileen.
That we will serve God with our heart, with our soul, with our mind, and that you will make disciples of other men for the glory of God.